was the last trip of the summer, and the first trip my dad and I had taken all year back to the lake I felt like I had grown up on. We fell into perfect sync as he backed the trailer into the water and I launched the boat as we had done countless times before. The engine roared to life as I opened the throttle to full power and we began to skip across the top of the water. Lake Jocassee never ceases to amaze in the 20 years that I have been coming back to this lake. The water level was lower than usual as we approached one of our usual stops, Laurel Fork Falls. The old boat's shallow draft allowed us to drift across the top of the sandbar that impeded most access to where the falls spill into the lake. The refreshing cool mist was welcome as summer's heat penetrated even the shadows of the sheer rock cliffs that surrounded the falls. As we trolled out of the cove, a series of smaller waterfalls decorated the shoreline, spilling into the emerald green water. As we navigated further up the lake, the water seemed to still, and there were fewer boaters to share the beauty of the morning with. It was just how I remembered it. Me, my dad, and the lake. We eased the boat to shore and stepped off the bow into the cold mountain water where two rivers converge and fill the lake. The rush of the water cascading over the shade-draped boulders is almost deafening.
Well guys, we got to the campsite that we pretty much grew up on, and the water is way lower. We used to be able to pull the boat right up here and literally walk up to the campsite. But we're gonna scope things out since the water's a little bit lower, see what the quality of the campsite looks like, and get ready to set up camp.
The labyrinth of serpentine-like tree roots reaches out to grab you as you enter the forest. We hiked down the trail away from our traditional campsite in favor of a more picturesque venue to set up our sleeping arrangements. This new campsite overlooked the lake and was a perfect setup to enjoy the setting sun. We decided to pull the boat closer to the campsite, and as we pulled up to the beach, a water snake slipped through a tree that had fallen into the water. Each time we went back to the boat, the water snake was always nearby.
It's got some pretty colors.
If we need it, but we don't have to have it on us.
While having the luxury of being able to pull right up to the campsite, we brought more traditional camping items than we typically would and made short work of setting up camp while we still had good sunlight. While I opted for the minimalist style of sleeping on the ground with a pad, Dad opted for a hammock which ended up being a much cooler alternative, while the summer humidity was still thick even in the middle of the night.
Being out here with you.
Yeah, I'm having fun too, Dad. Woo! Oh, got a little deep. You're not going to come a little deeper? I see that feeling in your face.
Well, I just don't want to fall down. Although I usually like to dive in versus.
Strong current.
The icy water was a welcome reprieve from the oppressive summer heat. And being out in nature, it is so hard not to look around and enjoy the beauty and be in awe of everything that God has created.
That third wheel.
After splashing around in the river for a while, we decided to go ahead and float back down the river to the campsite. While the water was lower than normal, there was still plenty of water to have fun, acting like kids, bumping around the rocks and splashing in the water.
You coming? All right, we made it through one. Let's see if we can make it through the next one. Water's definitely much lower than it's been in years past, but it's still fun. Might be 33 years old, but I can still act like a kid. Hit a big rock. Whoa! Ow! All right, I think we're in the deep water. Did you hit a rock? Yeah, careful, there's rocks over there.
I know, I got them.
Not bad for 65 years old. You hit the deep water, huh?
I love you, Dad. I love you too. This is fun. And you know, if I was on that, I probably wouldn't think to do it.
You what?
If I was on my own, I probably, I don't know.
Right?
But when you have somebody else, it's like, no, it actually makes it fun.
That looks painful.
Once we got back to camp, it was time to set up the stove and try our hand at cooking a cauliflower pizza in a cast iron Dutch oven.
Whew. Okay. Well, those are pretty big.
It's about a medium, isn't it? Would you call that a large?
No, I call it medium, but when you compare it to the size. Or we can kind of force it to be concave.
It'll go, because it's cauliflower, it's not dough.
After dinner, we set about building the campfire that we would be sitting by for the rest of the evening, talking about life, talking about family and God, and just enjoying our time together.
Nothing is just spontaneous. It's the whole place.
After the fire died down, we went over to the suspension bridge and were treated to a beautiful spectacle of satellites, shooting stars, and the Milky Way. After a hearty breakfast, we loaded our things into the boat and headed back to reality. As we rounded each bend, the lake was like a perfect sheet of glass with no ripple or imperfection. While I hated going back home, I was grateful for yet another memory that my dad and I had etched in our minds, spent together.